Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Roller Coaster Tycoon number 2. It is that time again. It is my favourite time to play this wonderful, wonderful game. I love it. I loved it when I was younger. It's great to be playing it again. And in this episode today, what we are going to be doing is this one down here, Infernal Views. Now this is a much different and bigger challenge to what we've done before. We have to have 10 different roller coasters operating in our park with an excitement rating of at least 6. Well, I think 6 is, pretty easy. I think we should aim for 7 or higher, and we're going to try and theme all of these roller coasters as well. And I've got to say, this might be like a 2 or a 3-parter because 10 roller coasters could take me a lot of time to build. And of course, we've got to build up another park around it. It's not just roller coasters, but we are going to focus on those. So check this out, Infernal Views. Doesn't this place look awesome? It is really, really cool. I do like this, it is a bit kind of bold and stark, but it does work as well. I do like the theme. I think it's going to be cool to build in this. So we start off with one roller coaster, which is called Wooden Roller Coaster 1. That certainly needs a name. This thing is really cool looking. In fact, this thing right here is about to start. We don't have to watch it come all the way up. It's actually got some sort of thing at the top that stops it, and I've just noticed some sort of poisonous pool behind it. Anyway, it comes down, it goes around, it goes up and down. It's a really fast, intense roller coaster, and I've got a feeling that maybe that's what the people like, since they've already, put a intense roller coaster in the park. So we'll try and follow suit with this. We're going to build lots of roller coasters. We're going to try and theme them, and meet that objective. And I'm not sure if one of those has already been met because this one's already here. So we might end up building just 9 roller coasters. But of course, we've got to build an economy. We've got to be able to fund these as well. And this thing right here, at the moment, it's £2 to ride on it, which is the default. We can easily charge about £6 or £7 for this. But it's going to be an interesting park, and one that I've got to put some thought into, the planning and the layout. In fact, we'll just set it to £6 for now. That'll do. And I'm kind of tempted to do the same thing we did last time, where we redirect people with the exit, but it's going to be a lot of work, and I think I'd like to make some of the other roller coasters go underground like this one, and then having a load of paths down there will make it difficult, but I do have to put some time and thought into this. So I'm probably just going to build a few basic things, and then we'll get to work on our first roller coaster. I got a feeling this is going to be a tough map. Check this out over here. I repeated our success from, I think it was our first episode, where we built like a little seating area around this underground freefall ride, which I've called the Rocket. Not the most imaginative of names, but it isn't very popular. The price is £3. I'm probably going to have to lower it. If you remember the one we had before, we could charge quite a lot for it, which was interesting, but it doesn't seem to be working here. And so the other thing that I've made is over here. It's a roller coaster. It is called Lava Fiends. That's the name of it right there. And it's the one that we built at the end of the last episode. Pretty much a similar concept, just a different design here. It goes, around like this. And it goes all the way back up there, and then it repeats itself. And it's pretty cool. Problem is, I've just realised the rating is below 6. So I have tried to put as much decoration and stuff as I can around here, but it seems to stay at around 5.78. So I'm hoping that maybe if we bring like another roller coaster around by this area, or we get some more scenery in the future, something to make the rating go up by just a touch, that'll be one of our 10 that needs to be 6 or above. But at least for now, that is going to bring us in some money. Things aren't really going particularly great. We're only just getting started, and I spend a lot of time doing this and putting a lot of money into it. So it's going to be a slow and steady growth, which is pretty much how we've done all of these so far. And I think actually one thing that'd be nice to do, probably when we do a timed level, would be to just, not focus on the scenery and just try and create the most efficient and quick upbringing, I guess you could say, for a park, if that makes sense, because that's a challenge in itself. At the moment, I'm doing the more aesthetic stuff like this over here. Anyway, the plan next is to build yet another roller coaster. This time we're going to try and get the rating a little bit higher. So looking at this, I have no idea what one I'm going to do. Obviously, I'm going to go think about it, and I'll be back with you when I've made another roller coaster. And here it is. We have a little bit of an interesting problem right here. Now, first of all, let's talk about the cost of this thing. I think I went up to 16 grand to build it the first time, and then I kept, deleting parts of the tracks, rebuilding them, making it slightly more complex, and we've gone up to £22,000 in debt, which is ridiculous. But it has brought the excitement rating up to just under 7, which is what we're aiming for. So with some scenery and stuff like that, we'll be able to do that. And I was thinking, at the end of this, we talked about going into a kind of creative environment, building the track design, and then saving it, and then putting it in the world. Well, blessing in disguise here, this thing is broken down during the construction and testing of it, and I cannot put a path at the end here. Have a look. There is no way to put a path at the exit because the track is in front of it, and if I click on the track, then we can't start construction on Looping Roller Coaster 1 because it is broken down and required fixing. So there is no way to get a mechanic in there, and that means the only way I'm going to be able to get this back is to load a backup, which means we're going to go back in time a little bit, and then we're going to import this roller coaster. So if we save this one, there we go, we'll just call it Looping Roller Coaster 1 for now, then we can import it back in, so let's do that. Okay, I think the position this is supposed to go in is around here. It costs 14,000. That means we've got to put up our loan. Oh, so that's going to put us up to 22. That is interesting. This whole time I thought when we delete parts of the tracks it costs more to replace it. I'm sure it does. Maybe the cost is actually based on that as well. Who knows? It's really strange stuff. Anyway, that's the place we're going to put it. This thing was designed, and let's move that exit immediately. We're going to put it maybe closer to the entrance. There we go, it's going to go right there. Yeah, this thing was designed to... okay, guests can't find restrooms, that's fine. It was designed to put a couple of loop-the-loops right at the entrance of the park, which is always a cool thing to do, to show off your fancy roller coasters there at the entrance. But let's watch this thing. It's really nice, actually. It's got a nice sense of pace to it. So, yep, it goes down and around there, over and then down through the loop. And it gets around that with a nice pace. Not too fast, not too slow, and then when it comes up here it kind of slows down a fair bit, and then it gets faster again when it drops down and goes around this weavy bit. So comes back into the middle, goes through another loop-the-loop, which has a track going through it. That always helps with the excitement rating. And then it gets quite up and down and windy around here. And it's not too fast, it's not going to be that intense, but it's nice. Goes around itself a lot. And it gets quite slow towards the end here as well, actually. It picks up a little bit of steam as we go around here. And then when it comes up onto this bit, it gets real slow. So look at this. Only just makes it through, really. Which is alright, that's not going to be too much of a problem, because it's right at the end of the track. And that is our roller coaster. So the next thing for me to do is to theme this, to give it a name, to design a little area. And do you know what we've got to do after this roller coaster is in place? I think we need to concentrate on the park as a whole, get some restrooms in, get some services going, make sure the rating's going to be good so we can start making some decent money and bringing people to the park. So this area right here I'm going to treat like a foyer area, so there'll be a big themed area here, and I'm kind of curious as to what theme I'm going to go with now that I think about it, because this place is kind of limited, isn't it? It's sort of volcanic and and evil. Saying that, we've got Martian, we've got Jurassic, we've got jungle, creepy. All of these things actually are going to fit in this terrain quite well, I think. So I don't think it'll be that hard after all. So here we go, it's been decorated and I think it looks alright. I think with the scenery stuff you need a lot more planning before you build your roller coasters, but it has increased the rating. If we have a look here, it's now 710. Not the biggest of increases, but let's look at what we've done. There's a few dinosaurs, bones and things around the place, and I've also built this here as you lead up to the top. It doesn't look too great, but they're supposed to increase the rating. It did just a tiny bit. Then over on this side I've added another ride which had a really high nausea rating. That's gone back down a little bit now that I've decreased the amount of rotations. I might decrease this further actually. Let's try it on... okay, 10's the minimum. Never mind. This is the Rattlebone ride over here. You can see it's got a little sign at the side here, and then we've got this ride which is called Them Bones, and yes, that is named after the song Them Bones. It just kind of popped into my head, and I thought we'd call this area here the Boneyards. That would be like a themed part of the park, and it's a very small bit compared to these other islands where we could probably do even bigger themes. Another thing I've done here, by the way, I'm going to try this strategy, is to have a handyman who's exclusive to this area and also a mechanic who's exclusive to the ride. So notice how the path for this guy... wait, what did I just do? Did I just create a new mechanic? Let's undo that. Let's select this guy right here. If we have a look at his footpath, you'll see that he can only walk between the two exits of the rides. So he'll be the guy in charge of fixing those two, which means with less mechanics, or... no, well, with one mechanic between two rides, we should probably set this for every 10 minutes like that, and we'll do a similar strategy throughout the park. So that is the first yard, the Boneyard part, done. And at the moment, by the way, our limit on the loan is 25,000. We can't go above that, so that kind of limits us on building another roller coaster. If we pay off our debt, you'll see we're going to need probably another 8 or so £1,000 before we can start to build another one. So it's going to be a case of management and building some smaller rides. Probably going to do a go-kart track, and also I'm thinking about building one of these haunted mansions, but just doing the pre-designed ride thing, so we could plop one of these down somewhere, which I think would be very fitting in this park. But it's going to take me some time, and I'll be back with you when we have progressed. So much time has gone by. We are now in April of year 4. We have repaid our entire debt, and we're up by 5,000. Now I've built a few more rides. I've kind of just let the park, you know, go on, managing it slightly here and there so we can generate lots of money. So you can see we have a nice amount of income, and now we're ready to build a big roller coaster, and I want to build a really big one for our next one. So let's go up here, and you can see that I have actually expanded this area of the park quite significantly. We have a few extra rides here. We've got the bumper cars with a bit of scenery around it, nothing too interesting about that. This one right here is extremely popular. This is the magic carpet, and as I went to place it down, I had this idea of it being on top of a hill, and then we built some framework around it, and now it's a really cool and popular looking ride. Then over here I added in some of the simulators as well, just trying to add in a tiny bit of scenery by raising them off the ground, and I think it looks really cool. Those are quite popular. And then over here I did place down the haunted mansion. I decided that this area over here would be our spooky area, so we'll probably have a spooky themed roller coaster and maybe a couple of other rides in that area. But I think we're done with building all of these smaller sorts of thrill rides now, because yeah, we want to build roller coasters, and this has built us a very nice source of income which we can build on now. I made a few tweaks here and there. I've been organising the staff, you know, giving them footpaths to look after, because some of them get really dirty, like this one over here. There's always people coming out of here and puking, so I've added some benches, and we've got a guy who works on that path constantly, and the same for the mechanics as well. So everything has been going really smooth, and our park rating has just risen quite a lot in the last month by the looks of that. Not too much growth with the guests in the park, but that is fine. So the next roller coaster, what are we going to build? Will it be the Hyper Twist roller coaster that just became available? What one's that? Hyper Twist? No, it's not. We're actually going to build the Giga Coaster. Now have a look at this. This is a massive track design. You can see from these that there appears to be, you know, lots of very curvy, windy parts, and you can go up and down a lot. However, if you look at the intensity rating of these, they are not so bad, are they? So I've got a feeling you can do a lot with this, and you're quite flexible. And the way it described the ride as well would indicate that. A giant steel roller coaster capable of smooth drops and hills over 300 foot. So we're going to build a mega coaster with this thing, basically. I want it to go around the outside of the entire park, so it's going to be a bit of a up and down and around, and maybe in this hilly area over here we'll do a little something with some windy tracks. But the entrance for this, I have no idea where I'm going to put it. We could put it with this one, but I feel like the traffic here is fine because people come through the park. The next area they go into is this one, and that pulls them into that area, so that's fine. And then some people go over there, but that's our spooky area. So the place that we kind of need to pull people to is maybe over here. However, the queue is always full for that ride. Actually, this ride right here could do with some more traffic, so we're probably going to have this somewhere around this area. I'm not sure where exactly the station will go, but that'll be the plan. So our new roller coaster has been constructed. This is where the entrance is, right here. And let's go to the top because it's going to go down the hill. So this thing right here is a success, that's for sure. Let's follow it around. It goes all the way around most of the park. And that looks like a lot of fun, that roller coaster, gotta say it. There isn't a very roller coastery bit like this though, where the tracks kind of wind around each other. By the time I got to the end, we had spent so much money on this thing. I think it must have been about 25,000 that I thought that's enough, and I had to edit the track a couple of times, but this is pretty much my first go. I just had to lower it in a couple of places because it does actually slow down, and from this point all the way around to the end it kind of, you know, becomes quite a tame roller coaster. As you can see there, it does slow down a lot, but the excitement rating on this thing is fantastic. Let's have a look. 8.86, and I've done no decorating or anything like that yet. And I also noticed it raised the excitement rating of a couple of other roller coasters, the Leviathan and then Bones, because they were going right next to it, so that made a big difference to those. And I'm thinking for the other roller coasters we build, we want to have them near this one and kind of always get them crossing over with each other a bit, just so it helps raise the excitement level. But there you go, it comes back around here to the station. So let's have a look at it from the outside. The plan was to actually come around the back here and then do some sort of bit like down here, all the tracks jumbled, and then come back to the station. But as I got around here, it just seemed right to bring it back in, and it turned out to be a good one. I think most of the excitement rating comes from the beginning bit though, where you're going very fast, but it's definitely been a good roller coaster. Let's turn down the loan. We are earning so much money. It's good. Look at that, 4.5 a month. It's about to go up as the income from this one comes in. But there you go. There's our financial graph. You can see spending absolutely tons of money on this roller coaster. But we're almost out of our debt again, which is cool. And I think it's time that we get more people in the park. Let's run an advertising. Oh, that's for a particular ride. Let's advertise our new roller coaster. And let's do one for the park for 2 weeks as well. So we're going to bring in a lot of people. And I need more money for that. I'm also going to decorate this one now as well. So that's what I'll be doing next. And I actually needed that window to do the advertising, didn't I? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to make this area around here, well, try and make it look interesting. It is all underground, so there's probably not too much that I'm going to do here, but we'll add some sort of decoration. So I haven't done too much. This is it right here. That's literally it. I haven't even done anything to the track as well. I did consider putting in a tower down here or something like that, but it wasn't really going to do too much. So I've been looking at where are we going to build the next roller coaster, and we need to get all of our roller coasters up to a rating of 7, or is it 6? I think it's 6. You can see there it's now 5.99. That's been raised up by about 20 or 30, I think, because of this other track, which you can see. Where am I going? Where am I going? I think it's here. It's somewhere on here. There we go. The rating is 6. So this is almost there, and with another roller coaster nearby and other parts of the track, that will probably get to it. So we'll bring that one up to the right level for our objective, and we can build another one here. So this is the track that I've got. I originally wanted to put 2 loop-the-loops over here. However, I think the vertical slope, like, well, it's not vertical, but the very nearly vertical slope like that, the steep one, you're not going to be able to fit it through. So I played around with a few different things, and I like this here. This is the big, long, one like that. And look at how close together they are. It almost looks like if you had the trains going through at the same time, then they would crash. But this type of roller coaster is an inverted one. Let's go and have a look at that over here. You can see from the pre-designs that it's quite intense. That one has an intensity rating of 9, and none of these have an excitement rating of 7. Oh wait a minute, we're aiming for 6, aren't we? Actually, they're all got 6 and above, so that's fine. Don't listen to me. Anyway, yeah, we're going to build this roller coaster over here. So it's going to have its station somewhere around this area here, and the rest of the track will be behind it in this space. So here it is. This one is called Rapture. I think we called one of our roller coasters that before. It's just one of those names that comes into my mind. And this thing, its rating is alright. It's pretty high on the excitement rating, but it's also really high on the intensity and nausea. And that's actually quite normal for this design. And I have an impulse to try and bring those down as much as possible. So after I built the original design, there was a little bit of the track somewhere around the end here that was quite intense. So I removed it, and that kind of evened them out a little bit, but the excitement rating went down as well. But you can see this thing looks really, really cool. And this roller coaster over here, has it gone up yet? Yes, it has. Amazing. We are at 6.01. Do you want to know how I did that? I added these little lava squirt things down here, and that just set it up by another 0.02 points, and that has put it over the threshold. So we now have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we have 5 roller coasters, so we're halfway there, which is kind of fitting because we're getting to the end of our time for this episode. We're going to do a 2-parter on this one, and as far as decorating with this one goes, well, there's a big black blocks there, and there's a little area here, and it's not too impressive really. I do struggle with some of the scenery. I think I work with flowers and stuff like that much better than I do these industrial themes, which is interesting. Anyway, I think the next focus will be to just improve this area over here a little bit. I think I want to build maybe a go-kart track or just 1 or 2 more thrill rides around here, because it's really crowded and I'd like an excuse to add some more pathways and stuff like that. So before we're done with this episode, I am just going to update this area a little bit, but then that will be it. We're halfway there, and in the next episode I think one of the things I might do is build a roller coaster on camera, because some of you have been asking for that. You don't like the way that I just cut and everything's built, so that's something we'll do in the next one. But anyway, I'll be back in a moment with an update on this area. Okay, I think I finished doing my final touches on this area over here. Let's have a look. We've added a new section over here. I think it looks pretty awesome. We've got 2 slides, 1 on either side. For some reason this one is unpopular. I'm not sure why. Maybe the settings are slightly different. Note 5. And it costs £1 to go on. That should be the same on this side. So yeah, for some reason that one is more popular. Maybe it's the colours. And around this I've just got a load of roads. It's kind of hard to see because of all the scenery. And there's also a go-kart track if you have a look here. So we've got 2 paths that come down the side here. we have the exit for the go-kart track underneath this thing, and the entrance just there in the ground. That's because I made the track underground. And so the queue comes all the way up to the front here, and this is the entrance to what I call the Future Zone. I'm sure I had a better name for this at one point, but now that is what it is called. And it's pretty cool. I've added another restroom, and if you've been listening to the sounds of the game, it's pretty much constant use of the restrooms. You can hear all the toilets flushing, which is just something I noticed. There's obviously those other noises going on for money and things like that. And look at that, we're up to 52, so we are doing extremely well at the moment. How much are we making a month? We're making, that's the profit at the bottom there, isn't it? Around 5,000, 4,000 a month, lots from the rides. That is very, very cool. But there you go, I put up this little sign here that says Future Zone, put some fences up, some trees. The go-kart track is awesome, it goes up and down, around the corner, up and down, and then we put the paths around it just to make it nice and interesting. And I've just kind of finalised things off here. I need to remove this path right here, that's pretty useless, but there you go, we've made a lot of progress on this map. And there is a lot more to come, so that will be in the next episode. We will do the other half of this, which is getting another 5 roller coasters going, which I think isn't going to be too much of a challenge now. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.